Hey, good afternoon. This is Pete from FigLife.com, and today I'm trying a fig variety called TD Yellow Crinkle, and it's kind of a funny name, but it is kind of actually a cool. Maybe it's a cool name. It's a cool name for a cool fig, because the TD Yellow Crinkle fig actually has a skin on it that kind of crinkles when it ripens, so it's kind of a neat characteristic of the variety. But anyway. I've gotten a couple figs to ripen off this variety already, but they both had to be picked when they were a little bit underripe for various reasons. And so today I have a fig off my TD Yellow Crinkle tree that I think is fully ripe. It'll be my first fully ripe fig off my TD Yellow Crinkle fig tree, and I'm excited to try that. So let's go take a closer look at that fig. So I've got quite a few figs here on this TD Yellow Crinkle fig tree. A lot of the leaves, it's trying to adjust to the internal setup here in the grow room. And a lot of times that means it has to, because I'm giving it so much less water, a lot of the leaves end up drying up. But, oh, actually, you know what? It's got some more plant right back here. This is also part of the TD Yellow Crinkle tree. You can see the leaf shape here. Whoops, I just broke a leaf off. That's why I shouldn't be grabbing the leaves in here. Anyway, yeah, you can see the leaf shapes. But it's got a fair number of figs on there, and I've gotten a couple figs off this variety already, but one I had to pick early because of the rain, and the other one I had some splitting. So let me just pick that. I think this one is ripe. It's pretty soft. Let me take this out of its bag, see if it's got some crinkle to it. It does have some yellow. I got that. I know the last one that I looked at, the first one I should say, was a little bit green still. So yeah, this is looking really good. I'm not really seeing a lot of green. It's mostly all yellow now, and actually you're starting to see some purple come through. And I looked on a couple of the videos that Fig AgroLab had, because they grow this variety, to make sure this was correct. And because I was getting some of this purple coming in here. And looking at their variety, it looks like it does actually turn darker when it's in a little more of a ripe condition. And you can see here, I don't know how easy it is to tell on the video, but you've got a little of this crinkling going on here on the skin here, which is kind of neat. There, I think you can see it there on that view. You see the ridges on it, which I guess is what they're calling the crinkling. So it's not quite as pronounced as in some of the photos I've seen, but you can see that crinkling a little bit. And actually on my fig, it's actually starting to turn a purple color on the ridges there, whereas I've seen photos where it's entirely yellow. But like I said, the video that I saw with Fig AgroLab had this fig turning a darker color when it was in a more ripe condition. So so this is looking pretty good, and kind of a big eye on this fig. It looks like I don't have a lot of experience with this. This is only my third TD Yellow Crinkle fig ever off this tree, but I think this is the most well ripened one I've gotten so far. Like I said, the second one had a pretty big split across of it. And the first one I had to pick early because a bunch of rain was coming. So this really is the first well-ripened, I hope, TD Yellow Crinkle fig that I've had. So let me go ahead and take this outside, and we'll take a closer look at this fig. So it's worth noting that this fig right here in my hand is not fully representative of what you can expect to get on the East Coast, because as I mentioned, I was having some trouble with cracking on this fig, or splitting, I should say. And so I ended up moving it down into grow lights, which the grow lights are not, that environment is not representative of outdoor ripening conditions on the East Coast in Virginia. So, just take that into consideration when looking at this fig here in my hand, is that I did finish ripening this under the grow lights. But out here in the sunlight, you can kind of see that crinkling a little bit better. It's got kind of like little ridges to it along the edges, which is kind of neat actually. So hopefully, so it has kind of a neat look to it. Hopefully it also has a good taste, but we'll find out here in a second. So let me go ahead and weigh this thing. 41 grams. So about a medium-sized fig. And let me get a couple photos of this. All right, let me cut open this fig. My first ripe, hopefully, TD Yellow Crinkle. All right. So look at the inside of that. That's looking really good. Much better than the last two that I had. And I will say the last two I had, which were ripened outside, despite being slightly underripe, both of them, they actually tasted really good. So this is one that tasted good even when it wasn't fully ripe. So now that it is, I think, fully ripe, I'm excited to try this because it may have a really good flavor, but we'll see. Let me take a photo of this because I've been forgetting to take photos before I cut them up into tiny pieces. So let me go ahead and take another photo of this. All right, got some good photos of TD Yellow Crinkle, and I'm really happy with the way this looks. I mean, just really a really pretty fig, both inside and outside. So then the big question, of course, is just the taste. But like I said, the last two that I had, they tasted really good. So I'm actually hopeful that this is going to have a really nice flavor. But then finishing ripening under the grow lights, that may have, you know, who knows what that did to the flavor. So we'll see. Yeah, really good flavor. Try one more. Yeah, really nice berry flavor. Kind of a sort of a richness to the berry flavor that's hard to describe. You want one of these? These are good. Here, try that. Let me know what you think. But nice, you know, it's got that thin, chewy, sweet skin, which is really good. You like it? Let me have this last one here. Yeah, the berry has a kind of an unusual sort of it's like almost like a strong berry flavor or something. It's got like something a little bit sharp in it. It's just like, ooh, whoa, what's that? So that was pretty good. Hey, let's not play with that, please. Yeah, so that was actually really good flavor, and like I said, really a pretty fig with the outside, you know, that those kind of ridges that it's got going on. I think my only concern about that is you saw it had a big eye, and I did get a little bit of splitting from that fig before I brought it inside. So, you know, that's the only thing that makes me a little bit concerned for growers out on the East Coast. I think, you know, for people in drier climates, that's one that you could probably ripen really well. And I will also point out, again, it had a good flavor even when it wasn't fully ripe. So it wasn't one that I had to have perfectly ripe in order for it to have a good flavor. And then finally, the other thing I'd mention is, you know, it's really hard for me to assess ripening dates because I do so much funky stuff with my figs. You know, I'm growing some of them under grow lights all winter. You know, when I'm initially rooting the cuttings, and then for all my figs, you know, I've got them in the greenhouse, which could give them, you know, a pretty significant head start sometimes. And then sometimes at the end of the season, I'm putting them under grow lights. You know, so I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff to these figs. So it's hard for me to fairly assess what the ripening date of these figs is sometimes because they're apples to oranges comparisons, and it's just not, it's not typical for what a lot of other growers are doing. But I will say for TD Yellow Crinkle, even though you may think it's a late fig because it's ripening only just now in early October, but the fact is I actually got this, got the scionwood really late in the spring. And I showed in an earlier video, TD Yellow Crinkle, where I had grafted it onto an existing rootstock in order to get it going quicker because it was so late in the season when I got it. And I was trying to get some fruit from it. so that I could evaluate it during its first year. And and so I got that fig probably, that scion wood for TD Yellow Crinkle, probably later than any other fig in my collection. And I still got ripe figs. And in fact, I got some other varieties around that same time frame, and I think the TD Yellow Crinkle is the first of that group to have ripened. So I don't think TD Yellow Crinkle is necessarily a late fig. I'm actually very very happy with the fact that it's ripening now, because there's a couple others that I got that I'm still waiting on, that I got around that same time frame. So anyway, that was TD Yellow Crinkle, and a variety that I think for growers, some growers, has a lot of promise actually. For other growers, you know, wet, humid, high bug environments, you know, the open eye, I don't know. It does give me some concern, but who knows? You know, I'm just one person. I limited experience. I've only gotten 3 figs total to ripen off that variety, so there's certainly more to know, and more room for more growers to have experiences and opinions on that variety. But at least as of right now, I haven't seen a lot of other growers ripening that one yet. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit subscribe and check out my website, www.figlife.com. Thanks.